What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Win Anyway. It has been quite a while.
Yeah, season 2, and we haven't recorded anything since the middle of COVID, I think.
Yeah, because we were not letting anybody over our house except for DJ and Sherry,
our producers.
So, but they're back.
Yes, they are. You can't see them, but they're here, looking as beautiful as always.
Check out DJ's music, DJ Just J.
Amen. But here we are, season 2, and I'm excited about it. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be a point and shoot. A lot has changed. My hair is 10 inches longer.
It's extensions.
Yeah, extensions. We'll call it that. And I'm super excited about it. Excited to be able to be back on here. We've had probably 10,000 requests for the podcast to come back, and here we are.
Mm-hmm. So we are going to revamp it a lot, to be less formal.
Yes.
So this is probably the most formal it's going to be.
Correct.
A lot of it's going to be more
point and shoot,
TikTok, IG kind of style.
Yeah, point and shoot, simple, unedited, raw, real, straight to the point, but packed with value. And I was asked if we'll still have our intro song, and we do. Just a little revamp on it. So let's dive into episode 1.
All right.
We had everything going against us.
Yeah, we were young. We were broke. We didn't know anything about business. We literally started from nothing.
We were never supposed to make it. Okay, so when you're starting a business or you've been in business for a long time, there's different people in a business, right? There's someone who just got here and they literally just started. They're trying to learn the business still, learn the systems, learn the industry, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Then you have someone who's been in business for a really long time, but their business never moved. Mm-hmm. So they're almost in the same place as if they just started, right? They've been around maybe, whatever industry it is for a long time, and they haven't done anything. And then you have someone who has been there and they're grinding and they're working, but they're not where they want to be, right? But they're frustrated and they want it and they're focused, but they haven't gotten there. So my question is, for those people, the life of an entrepreneur is sometimes scary, and there's different types of entrepreneurs. There's entrepreneurs that carry jobs, and there's entrepreneurs that started in a business in an industry like ours, and they're full-time. But if you're there and you're on an empty calendar and you don't have momentum and you're scared and maybe you really need to make money and things just aren't working, and you're like, no matter how long you've been here, you're pretty much starting from scratch. What do you do?
I think everything always starts with goals. So I guess obviously all those scenarios that you talked about, whether you're brand new or you've been in whatever industry you're in business for a while, or you're thinking about starting a business, the goals are going to be the most important part, because where are you going next, I think, is an important question. What's the next goal? What's the next step that you need to take in order to get you going in the right direction?
I think you said something key, which was, what's the next goal? So I would even add to that, what's the next closest goal? Mm-hmm. What's something I can touch? So for example, I was having a conversation the other day with a teammate of ours, and the teammate said, I'm just freaking frustrated. I'm burnt out. I hate this. I'm not having fun. And I said something. I said, hey, when's the last time you visited your goals? Mm-hmm. I think we get caught up in this grind. I got to wake up every day. I got to make contacts. I got to set appointments. I got to find clients or customers. I got to find someone to send me referrals. I'm freaking broke. I'm counting on closing this next deal because otherwise I'm not going to be able to make my mortgage. And we get caught up in that stuff, which obviously is important. Mm-hmm. But what's the next closest goal, right? That if you're focused on your goals, I think you're inspired. Mm-hmm. Versus being burnt out and tired.
Yeah.
Because the goal should be exciting.
Yeah, it should build confidence. It should motivate you. It should, like you said, it should be exciting. It should get you excited. It should, when you wake up in the morning, it should be attainable, but still challenging. That's what makes a goal exciting. Because, I can, I'm not very athletic, but if I say, hey, I'm going to make like 5 free throws, I think I have at least a shot. So that might be a little bit more fun than me saying, okay, I can't leave until I do 100 because I'm probably going to end up living there for a month, right?
Yeah.
So it has to be something that's attainable, but still challenging, because at the end, you should feel accomplished.
I think that what ruins business for some people is the fact that they're so desperately needing it to work right away. Mm-hmm. And it takes the fun out of it.
Yeah.
Once you could get rid of the money problem, then the business gets fun. So let's make that a number one point then. Point number one is, if you're starting from nothing, no matter how long you've been here, you could still be starting from nothing, or deciding in my head, I'm going to start from nothing, and I'm going to restart. Not losing sight of the goals, right? So having very specific, what's my next goal? What's my next milestone? That's going to get me progress and get me closer and set a deadline on it. What would be another key point? What would you say?
If you are very clear on that next step goal, right? What's the next goal? And you have it very clear in your mind, it's time to start developing those habits in order to make it happen. Because it's not something that you want it to be a fluke where you just hit it once and you can't replicate that. It has to be something that's in your skill set. So what daily habits are you creating in order to make that next step like a solid step? Yeah.
How many times do people start to get progress and then go back down, and then start to get progress? And here's what I would actually challenge that thought. Did they actually get progress, or did they just land a nice client?
That's a good question.
I think sometimes we judge our progress on how much money we've made. Mm-hmm. And I have friends in real estate who close one deal and it's a $10 million home. And you would think they're just destroying the real estate industry. But the reality is they had one really nice client. Mm-hmm. And so is it actually progress, right? So if I'm trying to scale long-term vision, a business, I want to build a business, not just an income. A business, not just a paycheck. True or false, it's the things you do every day that allow you to build on the days and build the business from the bottom up, rather than spiking there and then in 12 months you're back to zero.
Yeah, so how would you say you decide on what those daily habits or daily tasks are?
Well, and that's a good question. In our industry, there's 1,000 things you could say to do every day. Mm-hmm. I got to read my books. I got to prospect. I got to follow up on business. I got to go through my Facebook. I got to go through my contacts again. I'm going to make another list. I'm going to study the product brochures. I'm going to call the home office. I'm going to talk to product providers. I'm going to, if I'm in real estate, I'm going to flyer the city. I'm going to door knock. I'm going to go through my phone book. I'm going to call my friends and ask if they want to sell their house. Like, there's a million things you could do. But I think no matter how big that list is, there's 5 or 10% of those things that make 90% of the difference.
Okay.
And I think that the other 90 things on the list are probably really easy, like checking my email and browsing my LinkedIn.
That's what I was going to ask you. Are those, let's say there are 5 tasks or 3 things, like must do things, 3 to 5 things that must do things that you have to do every single day. Are they usually have to do, right, in order to hit that goal? Would you say they're usually things that people enjoy?
Nope.
Or are they?
No, they're the ones that people enjoy the least. Just like the gym. I freaking hate leg day. But you want to know, when I look at my progress photos, when I look the best was the morning after leg day. And I'm only looking from the waist up. But the hardest exercises move the body the most. Right? And in the business, like in our industry, it's prospecting. And in real estate, it's prospecting. And in any business like that, solar, any of these things, it's prospecting. It's creating, prospects is creating a list. Who should know I'm in business, and why should they care? And do they need what I do? Do they need the service I provide? That right there is like the only freaking skill that I've had that separated me from everybody else. It was that, because 99 out of 100 people can't do that effectively. But that's the one thing that will move the needle the most, the longest.
So expanding your reach.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Even if, like, if we're talking about online businesses, you sell things on Etsy or whatnot, it is going to be that
How
reach.
I can get my clothing brand out to the world.
Yeah. Getting your stuff out on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, on Twitter, it's expanding that reach. So that's, if you're confused about what you should be putting on that daily task list, must-do list, then that should be one of them.
Every business
number one.
Every business is people. No people, no business.
Right.
It doesn't matter. I have a client who she makes about 30 grand a month off Etsy, selling patches that like you would sew on to a jacket. $30,000 a month. That's it. It's just getting the product out there. But it's every day deciding what are the one or two or three things that will move my business the most. And so let's put that as a number 2 thing. If I'm starting from scratch and I'm trying to figure out where to go, what are the things that will move my business the most? Whether I like them or not, whether I want to do them or not, they're the things I know will score me the most points in the day. Those are the things I got to do. Number 3, I think is, I was thinking about this right now, I think it's coaching. I think it's connecting with a mentor or a coach and getting feedback.
So who should that coach be? Because this can go very wrong if you don't pick wisely.
I would say, well, for us in our industry, it's Dan, because Dan has a vested interest in our success. If I'm a realtor and I work in a real estate firm, it's probably whoever my broker is, because that person has a vested interest in my success. And if I don't have a person who has a vested interest in my success, it's someone who's already there at the place I'm trying to get to. And I know they're there because I see them there, and they have everything that I would want someday in a career and in what success looks like for me. And I'm going to do my best to learn from the person at the top.
So if you do not have, if the person you're thinking about, like, okay, they're in my industry, they're very successful, they're where I want to be in the near future, but they don't have a vested interest to help you, how do you make that connection?
Hey, you got to be a giver. Do some homework. And I do this to this day. Even if I want to bring an outside speaker to come speak to our team, I figure out, what is that person like? What's important to them? What could I do? How can I add value to them? But even if you don't have a person, it could even be yourself. It could even be you. It's a very simple question. Can you explain to someone why you're winning, if you're winning?
Okay.
Like, if I'm doing well, do I even know why? Because if I know why, then I could continue to build on that and I could continue to do well. And if I'm not doing well, could I explain why? Like, am I aware these are the reasons why I'm not winning? These are the reasons my business isn't making progress. These are the reasons that my clothing line hasn't taken off. These are the reasons that my music hasn't blown up. These are the reasons why I'm not selling homes. These are the reasons why I have no life insurance clients and I have no recruits or teammates. Like, can you actually explain it? If not, I think you're clueless. And that's the first problem. Because you could have a coach, but the coach can't even coach you because you don't know why you're losing or why you're winning.
So that's self-awareness.
Yeah, knowing why you're good or why you're struggling.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think it's a really big one. Let's give one last one. What would be one last good point?
I would say
winning the day.
Yeah.
I think it's a good, before we started recording, you said tracking.
Tracking, yes.
Right, which is, in my eyes, would be what I consider winning the day.
Yes. Because a lot of times I think, we wait till the end of the month, especially in your business, because people usually go, okay, how did we do in the month of June in any business? And so I feel like you'd want to, if you're not doing well in business, you want to know, like, by the 3rd of June versus the 30th of June.
Yeah.
And the way that you do that is through tracking. Like he said previously, what's working, what's not working. That way you can correct anything that's going off course.
And people go, man, I just had a bad month. I'm like, dude, how did you have a bad month? Like 30 freaking days?
Yeah.
And they were all bad? That's what it takes to have a bad month. And it's happened. Don't get me wrong. We've had months where we're like, man, this is a bad month. I don't know. Something. But it wasn't that it was a bad month. It's that day in and day out, the sun went up and the sun went down, and we didn't get nothing done. Mm-hmm. And then we kept doing that for whatever reason. Probably not the fact that you're sitting around doing nothing. It's probably the fact that you're sitting around doing the bottom 90% of tasks that make you feel productive, but don't actually change your scorecard. Mm-hmm. That's probably the problem. Yeah. And the sun goes up and down 31 times, and you did the bottom 90% of things. You never actually got to that top 2 or 3 or 4 things like you mentioned.
Yeah. So those daily tasks that you've written down, you should be marking those off every single day. Okay, I did this one, this one, this one. The goal is to do them all, right? The top 3, top 5, whatever you wrote down.
Right.
Because if you're doing them all and you know those tasks get you a result at the end of the day, at the end of the month, whenever your results from your business come in, that will give you that reassurance. Right?
Of why you had a good month.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a mystery like, okay, I just had a really good month. I don't know why I had a really good month. No, it's because you did those things that work every single day and you kept track of them.
And because you can't duplicate it again the next month if you don't know what made it good.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where you see someone's business go like this.
Yeah. You can't figure out what the problem is at the end of the month if you don't see any results. You should be able to look back on those trackers, you keeping track of those things and saying, okay, it's because I didn't do this enough or at all.
At all. Mm-hmm. For me, I call it winning the day. So at the end of the day, I go, you know what? I won the day, which means I had this list of things I had to get done, and I got them done. Mm-hmm. And then I won the day. And it gives you confidence when you go to bed at night that I know the next time payday comes around, the next time cycles come around, or if I wake up and it's payday, I'm going to get freaking paid. Mm-hmm. And I'm filling my pipeline. Everything is pipeline. Every business is a pipeline. Is your pipeline full or is it empty? Is something, if you picture a water hose or an actual pipe, is stuff making its way through that's going to come out the other side, right? Where in business, the other side would be cash flow, revenue, income, a paycheck, whatever it may be. Entrepreneurs get paid to get the job done. Mm-hmm. And the job's not done if the pipeline is empty. And so every day, there's that, Andy Frisella calls it the power list, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so.
For me, I call it winning the day. And in tenacity, we call it winning the day. It's I woke up, there were things that had to get done. I got them done. I could go to bed tonight knowing I kicked the day's freaking butt. And if I just did that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days out of the week, I'm going to have a good week. Mm-hmm. If I do that 3, 4, 5 times, I'm going to have a good month. And if I could keep that up, it's going to be a great freaking year. Yeah.
You'll figure out what your numbers are and what you need to do to get the result that you want.
But you got to do it as we finish up. You can't just do it for a week and then say it didn't work.
Yeah, it has to be a consistent plan.
Like a solid freaking 90 days.
Action plan.
And you may start off the first 2-3 weeks where you're not getting any results. You feel like you're in the same spot. But it's a solid 90 days. You know, a building, the higher the building's going to go, the deeper they have to go down into the ground, right? Yep. Mm-hmm. And that's going to give a foundation. So if we want to go 10 times higher, we got to go a lot deeper. And everything underground you don't see. And that's the work that's done before the building goes up. And that's the business. Mm-hmm. So a solid 90 days.
Yep. It requires you to work on yourself. So it's something that, you've programmed yourself to have certain habits for however many years you've been alive. And so the foundation is you creating these new habits that are really going to serve you in the future.
Episode 1 is done. Yes. But do us a favor, you guys. Share this with your teammates. A lot of them weren't around to hear season 1. And so it's good to be back. But share it with your teammates. We'll be dropping these every single Sunday. And we look forward to seeing you. We're out.
All right, guys. Bye.